Good morning. Welcome to ICFB Star Entertainment. We're really grateful you're taking the time to meet us and meet our artists on the show. And today we've got a special privilege. We have Tim STEINRUCK that we will be interviewing from The Mighty One. And welcome to our show, Tim STEINRUCK.
It's nice to be here, Tara, and it's great to see you too, Marco, all the way in Italy.
Thank you.
So, first question, how'd you get
Yes.
started in music?
Well, actually, my mom is visiting right now, so that's kind of apropos. But I got started in the church. My dad was the organist in the church, and my mom the Sunday school teacher. But our family was very involved in music in general in the church. And because I grew up in northern British Columbia, there wasn't really anywhere to go except the church. It was our social hub. And so as much as I wanted to, when I turned 13 or 14, when I fell in love with rock and roll, as much as I wanted to leave, now that I look back at it, I realized that I was in show business since I was just a little kid, because we would rehearse all week long for these performances that we did on Sunday mornings before the sermon. So that's really how I got started in music and performing and showbiz in general. Yeah.
Very neat. What part of northern BC did you grow up in?
So this was in an area called Flat Rock, was the community that I grew up in. It was a Mennonite community, so just north of a place called Fort St. John. So I would say probably 200 miles from the Yukon border. Yeah.
Well, then your parents must have had interesting careers to be that far north.
We had a farm. Yeah, it was a grain farm. I think we had about 800 acres of farmland, and we grew things like wheat and barley and canola. Yeah.
And do you ever miss that time in your life, being in that many acres of freedom?
I think the wide expanse of the freedom is great, but it was a lot of hard work,
Yeah.
And so as a little kid, I remember coming home from, your grade, 2 or 3, and, you would have a snack and then you would head out onto the field and you would work. And that's just how it was, right? So I don't miss the hard work, but yes, I do miss the expansiveness of all that acreage to explore.
Yes, that would be something I would miss also. Going back to music here, what is your greatest passion about music in the industry? What fuels your music?
I think just simply creativity. To be able to create music is probably one of the greatest gifts. I always say that creativity is the ultimate expression of the soul. So to take something and from nothing and just let it come through you, and to end up in the end with a piece of music or a song that is so cohesive and all these parts come together. I think that's what I love the most. Taking something from nothing and making it into something beautiful and impactful.
Absolutely. What inspires you to write a song?
All sorts of different things. I would say probably, though, mostly it's what's happening to me in the moment. My reflections on maybe a situation that's happening in my life, or my view of things that are happening globally. It really always comes from personal experience. But as of the last few years, a lot of my music comes from a little spark that happens just as I'm coming from sleep to awake. Just in that moment when I first awake, there's a melody or there's a lyric or there's something. And oftentimes, I'll just, I'll go down in my bedclothes, and I'll sit here in the studio where I am right now and just let it flow. So
Yeah,
that's there's a but mostly I would say the inspiration is personal experience.
nice. And your dreamscape.
And the dreamscape, yeah. I mean, I study consciousness quite a bit, and that area, that alpha state between the conscious and the subconscious,
Hmm.
there is something that is very, very, very special there.
Hmm.
And if we can access it, and as I say, it's almost like I get a thread. You know, when you have a thread on a sweater, and if you start to pull it, the whole sweater starts to unravel.
Yeah.
That's sort of how I see that situation.
Well, it's a very powerful place to be, somewhere in between consciousness and sleep, the meditative state. It's where our mind works in some of its greatest glory.
Hmm. True.
Um, can you tell us a little bit more about that vision? And is that your current vision for your music, is to follow that dreamscape and kind of use that to guide you a little bit?
I mean, when those little bits of creativity or that string is there, that I give that my full attention. You know,
Yeah,
you know how it is when you come out of a dream state. You forget your dream really quickly.
really
So if
quickly.
that, yeah, so if that little piece is there,
Hmm.
I definitely draw on that, and I would say that it is, the last. So I've just released 3 singles with my solo project called just Steinruck, and those 3 songs all came from that place. Um, it started with the song Yahweh, and I didn't really know what Yahweh meant, but there it was, and there was a melody and everything, and then I went and I wrote it down, and I started recording it, and then I researched what it was, and oh my goodness, wow, this is the name of God. This is crazy, you know. So it was just a confirmation that this is a very special place to pull creativity from.
Absolutely. That space in between dream and reality, meditation, it's also sometimes where they say that we meet God, right? Whatever you might call him. You might call him God, you might call him Yahweh, you might call him Waheguru, you might call him Jehovah, right? But truthfully, there really is only one God, because only one God could be that powerful, right?
Yeah, I mean um, it's a universal force.
It is.
God God is just one name for a very very special universal force, divine force that we all have access to. Um,
Yeah.
but we need to be aware of when we are making that communication connection, right?
Hmm.
And realize how special that is, and then allow ourselves to fall into it, and that's
Hmm.
really what I do when those situations come up.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So would you say that that would be the secret of your music, would be that connection? Or what would you say would be your greatest secret of your music and your creativity?
I don't really know what the secret is. All I know is that I was born with the gift of creativity,
Hmm.
and I have a responsibility to deepen that connection on a regular basis, but I also have a responsibility to turn it into something tangible. So taking that intangible thing, which is
Hmm.
creativity, which is a feeling, turn it into something tangible that I can share with others. Because much like we talk about this universal force, I also believe that we as human beings are one. We are one force together. And
Yeah.
so I think we have a responsibility as leaders and as creatives to share that in order so that we can all evolve together.
Well, I believe that You're quite correct. I believe that we are all one, and the community that we live in is dependent upon how we contribute to that community. And
Yes.
we can construct beautiful new realities with God and with each other in beautiful communities. So I love that. Thank you, Tim.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
What would you consider to be your greatest success in your career?
Well, I guess my greatest success to date um, would be having this dream as a child at 13 years old, falling in love with a band called Kiss,
Oh,
and then in 1989 actually signing a record deal and a management deal with Paul Stanley, the lead singer of Kiss. That's probably been my greatest success to date.
that must have been a magic moment.
It truly was. It truly
Nice.
was.
Thank you for sharing. If you were to go back in time, what advice would you give to yourself 20 years ago?
Hmm. 20 years ago.
Yes.
I would tell myself that I'm good enough, because I think that 20 years ago maybe I didn't feel like I was good enough. There was, opportunities to connect with people that were there, but I just, I am I good enough? I think being good enough and knowing that we are good enough is probably our biggest challenge in life in general. So I would tell myself, yeah, 20 years ago, 20 year ago, Tim, I would say to him, you're good enough. Go for it.
Absolutely. It's really hard to trust that inner voice, and really hard to trust what you would describe as that space in between dreamscape and reality, that those are the visions that we need to embody and embrace in our lives, right?
Yes,
But
absolutely.
trusting that is so hard because we're taught and we're trained not to trust, not to
Yeah.
be imagination, right? So
Yes. Yes. I mean, I think that's probably one of the greatest gifts that I've been able to develop in myself, and I'm in my leadership. Um, I really try to help others develop it too, and that is that connection to our instinct and intuition.
yeah.
Um, that is our greatest gift. If we can get out of this place and get into this place
Hmm.
and make decisions from this place. I mean, the mind can help, but getting that heart and mind connection
Hmm.
and that intuition and instinct and
Hmm.
making decisions from there, everything is possible.
Extremely powerful advice. Thank you very much. Now, on that vein of that extremely powerful advice, and thank you, Tim, you also do life coaching, and we can tune in to your mindset coaching every day if we wanted to. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, sure. I mean, when in 2010, I sold a business that I had in the film industry. It was like a services-based industry in the film, and I was one of the prime contractors. It was a multi-million-dollar business, and it was great. It was super. I really enjoyed it, but it took all of my time. It actually took me away from music, and once I realized that, and then also I had a daughter on the way. Um, Most people would say, well, you've got a child on the way. You should, now is the time to really stay solid in what you're doing. I liquidated everything, and
Hmm.
so one of the things that I jumped into right away was to really look at coaching, and it was something I kind of fell into, but I got a teacher and I got a mentor and this great organization called Warrior Sage, and I studied and became a certified master coach in accelerated evolution, which is releasing any kind of emotional blocks that you have in your life, releasing those, getting rid of those in order so that you can have a direct path to your purpose, to your goal. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's something I'm very passionate about. And I work with not only musicians, but all sorts of different people in the I work with PTSD and stuff like that, and suicide prevention, as you know, and so that's something I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
And I go on social media. I think that's what you were kind of alluding to. You know, I do try to on a regular basis go on these little 90 or 100-day journeys to some of the, working with some of the great masters. And so now I'm working with the quotes. Today was day 44 of Buddha wisdom quotes. So taking Buddha wisdom quotes and just speaking about them a little bit. I think the previous one was Einstein. So I'm kind of looking at the next one right now. I'm thinking it's either going to be like Rumi or Confucius or something. So, you know, I'm very passionate about what I do with coaching, but one of the important things that I think to grow ourselves is to have daily disciplines. So
Mm-hmm.
I have a discipline group. We call it the Blissciplined Leadership Group. And the reason that I call it Blissciplined is because, when you think of discipline, it's got a little bit of a negative connotation to it because it's something that you have to do or something that you were bad and now you've got to make up for. Whereas
Absolutely.
Blisscipline is this gift that you give to yourself on a daily basis. And there's 4 steps. There's 7 minutes of intense exercise, some breathing, some deep breathing. I think breathing is so important. And
So important.
and then visualization. So
Mm-hmm.
visualizing your goal, whatever that goal is. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Visualizing as if it's already happened or it's here right now. So having the images, the thoughts, the feelings, and the body sensations of that. So really going into that, and then the final piece is like this social media thing that I do where I share something out into the world in a positive way that feeds the collective consciousness of humanity in a positive way. So
Nice.
this
I love
as like I say, I'm on day 44 right now, and this is actually a countdown right now. So I am 40, no 60, no 50, 56 days away from 2,000 consecutive days of this disciplined self-discipline process.
Wow. Congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you.
Huge. Way to go.
Thank you. I recommend it to anybody.
Oh, 100%. I wake up in the morning and I meditate myself in the morning. And, I found that, you really do get some really good answers that way. And um, it's a huge, huge shift also in terms of health and wellness. In that, places like the Cancer Agency here in British Columbia is actually recommending just what you're talking about, that visualization of healing, of well-being, actually seeing yourself being fine, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
and how we see ourselves is how we become our new reality.
Our thoughts create our reality. There's no doubt about it.
100%. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay, so we've learned a little bit about Tim as the coach, and we've learned a little bit about his film industry. Um, do you have any other talents that maybe you haven't shared with us?
Well, I don't know. I mean, again, the talent is kind of a very broad spectrum thing. It's creativity, right? So, one of the things that I'm also passionate about is television, and so of course working with Mark Rosner and Jimmy Allen Sign on the Rise Up TV. We've been working on that for about the last 5 years, and it's finally starting to get to television. It's being broadcast on Air TV, but we have about 12 episodes, and we're planning another tour So if you don't know what Rise Up TV is, it's basically a docudrama / reality show where we take musicians on the road, we stuff them all into a tour bus, and we give them a grueling schedule of 5 or 6 shows in 5 or 6 different cities, 5 or 6 different nights. And so, just giving them the full touring experience, the challenges of that, and also the successes that come from that, the collaborations that come from that. So that's also something I'm very, very passionate about. I love to tour. I love to tour. I've got some tours coming up that I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I saw something on Facebook. I think you're going somewhere abroad, internationally.
Yeah, so we've been invited by a Spanish metal band. So a band from Spain called Obus, and
Mm-hmm.
and they've invited us to come and open for them on their 45 year anniversary tour in Colombia. So we'll be there in Colombia
Congratulations.
from the 4th until the 16th
Of?
July.
Oh, perfect. So from
Yeah,
July the 4th until the 16th, we can tune in.
you betcha, you betcha. Yeah, it's
Is that going to
gonna be
be
an
a streamed
experience.
event?
Say it again.
Is that going to be a streamed event? Can we get tickets to stream that?
I'm trying to work on that. I think that might be possible. They're all in major centers, so I think that
Right?
that's very possible. Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be super cool to join you on your tour, Tim. We'd really like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's the Latin American audience is something I've been cultivating now for probably about 4 years.
Yes.
It's I'm really looking forward to actually connecting with all of the beautiful people there that have been so instrumental in getting my music out there, and going to play with a legendary band like Obus is
Nice.
it's a big deal. It's a really
It's a
big
huge
deal.
deal. It's a
Yeah,
huge deal. Are you
yeah.
practicing up your Spanish, Tim?
I'm working on it. I'm
Nice.
working on it.
Can we
I'm working on it.
can we anticipate a song in like a little bit of Spanish?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually singing 2 songs in Spanish. So I've done
Nice.
Spanish translations of 2 of my songs. One of the songs is called "Reprieved," and
Yes.
when you translate that, it's "Absuelto" is the name of the song. Yeah, and yeah, it goes. The first line goes, "Fui débil, tuve resurrección, ahogándome tanto tiempo."
Very nice. Thank you for sharing. So, lots of great things in the future for you, Tim. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're going to switch hats now. We're going to
Okay.
find out a little bit about Tim as a person
Sure.
because we want to get to know you.
Sure.
All right, Tim, you're branching out and you're learning to speak Spanish or sing in Spanish. Do you speak other languages?
German. German was my first language. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was my first language growing up. So, I mean, I went to grade 1. I didn't even know how to speak English yet because my parents both came from Germany. So it was a bit of a challenge to go to school and go like, wow, what's going on here? But yeah, so German. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Maybe a smattering of Japanese, but those are the sort of the 3 languages: English,
Mhm.
German, and Spanish. Yeah.
Well, German's a very difficult language to speak, and so is English. And so is
Yeah.
Japanese. I think you've
Yeah.
chosen maybe the 3 hardest languages to learn.
Well, really, the one that I should be learning is Mandarin for sure, because that's an area. China is definitely an area that I'm really looking forward to bringing my music to, especially since this comic book came out.
Ah,
Um,
yes.
of, of course, the Japanese love their comic books, but the Chinese also do too. And
Hmm.
but the Chinese, because the country has opened up so much more to North American culture, there's a real hunger there for North American music. So I've joined some of the social media platforms and sort of starting to poke around there. But China would definitely Mandarin would be the next language that I think. I think it's they say that English, Spanish, and Mandarin are probably the three biggest languages in the world right now.
Yeah, I think it's actually Spanish is number one, English is number two, and Mandarin's
Yeah,
number three.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
I personally, I love the romantic languages of Spanish and Italian and
yeah,
Francais, right?
yeah,
I love the romance, the way that the vowels sound and stuff like that. I think it's just gorgeous.
yeah, yeah,
Sorry.
totally.
Yeah,
I
but
have sung a couple songs in French also.
have you?
Can't say that
Nice.
I'm a great French speaker, but yeah, from my first two records, there was two songs, and I my music has really been embraced by the military community. So
Hmm.
I had two songs that did very well on Canadian Forces radio, uh,
Nice.
especially during the Afghan and the Iraq wars.
Hmm.
Um, and of course, a lot of the Canadian force is from Quebec. So I released a couple of songs in French, and that was also very good.
Good for you.
Hmm.
Have you lived anywhere else in the world other than Canada?
No, no, Canada's been my home, and I'm so proud and happy to be here.
Nice.
Yeah,
But you've traveled a lot.
I have, I have definitely traveled a lot of European countries. I love Mexico. I've been to many parts of Mexico. And I've been throughout the United States, and I have to say, I'm a little bit sad at not really feeling welcome in the United States at the
Mhm.
moment because of the political climate. I had a great tour booked this summer in the southern U.S. I've got southern U.S. management, but it just it just wasn't a reality this year.
Yeah, it's tough to watch what's going on in the States, but the only thing we can do is watch, hope, and pray and wait for things to get better, right?
Exactly, exactly.
So, in terms of your personal life, if you're going to watch a film, are you going to watch a film at home or are you going to go out?
All depends what the film is. I mean, when I go out to watch films, I love to go to the IMAX. That's my thing. I want to see that. I want to be in the big screen. I think
Mm-hmm.
the one that sticks out for me is Avatar. I
Love that
probably
one.
yeah, I probably went to the first and the second one like at least five or six times
Mm-hmm.
for each of them, and always at the IMAX. Um, that's where I love to watch films.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I love to watch films at home. I really like any films that are around consciousness, science fiction, that kind of thing. I want it. I'm not really into blood, gore, and violence, or horror or anything like that anymore. I want to feed myself with positive things, and I want to learn something, right? So that's why I love documentaries and things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
anything of a cosmic origin, I'm in.
Nice, nice. Yeah, the avatar is very cool. It's in Buddhism there is a figure called Blue Tara, right?
Yes.
And it's a Tara that's like all blue. And yeah, of course my name is Tara, so
Yeah.
I googled it, right?
Yeah.
And Blue Tara appeared. And then I thought about the avatar in that movie and that consciousness and the hair and the plugging in of the hair. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yes. Yeah. I
Um,
identify with that.
Me too. But maybe it would be with your beard.
Sure, absolutely. I'm ready to plug in. Where do I plug in? Is that my plug there or there?
Beautiful. And for those people that are watching this show right now, IMAX is a theater that has three-dimensional capabilities and sound. So just to, include our audience in what IMAX is for those people that are not Canadian,
Yeah. I mean, IMAX is a Canadian technology. I mean, what's incredible about it is just like with audio, the larger the media, the more energy and information is gathered. And I think like an IMAX film camera, I think that like regular film is about that wide, and I
Mm-hmm.
think IMAX film is about that wide. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's capturing a lot of information and then shown on the big screen. It's just a deeper, richer experience.
There's things that your subconscious can see that your conscious maybe can't.
Correct.
Nice.
So true. So true.
So we're right along that spiritual vein. I love that, Tim.
Yeah.
Thank you. So for music, what would you say your favorite genre is?
All depends how I'm feeling.
Okay.
All depends how I'm feeling. I mean, I love everything from, meditational tones to some of the loudest metal, and everything in between and classical. So, I mean, I used to say, oh yeah, hard rock. That's what I love. That's my favorite. But I can't say that anymore. It's really, what's my favorite in the moment with the way that I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Is really where it comes down to. But, the last little while, especially, doing these collaborations with my previous project, or with my recent project, I should say, I love collaborating with females, just simply because that balance of the masculine and the feminine voices and energy together in a song. It just feels so balanced because I come from the hard rock world, which is so very masculine for the most part. It's just really nice to have that balance, and I just love that so much.
Yeah, there is quite a beautiful interplay of voices when you've got that masculine and feminine. And I love some of the projects that you've done recently. You did a project with Sarah
Smith, that's correct, yeah.
Yeah, and we love that project. And you've also done a recent release of Atmosphere with Annette Ducharme, and
Correct.
We love that one too. It's so pretty.
Thank you. Yeah, so there's more coming from both of those ladies, and then I've got some other stuff in the works with, females who've inspired me to, even when I was a young teenager, I really, that's something that I'm so passionate about doing here in the next little while, is having more of those collaborations. As you know, Marco and I have done a collaboration together. We still have one single to release yet, Marco.
Yeah.
But the first one that we released was a very, very, very spiritual song. Collaborations is really where it's at for me right now. Will I do more stuff on my own? Yes, but it's not really my focus. My focus is about collaborations.
So are you open to other lady artists to collaborate with?
Absolutely, Tara.
Perfect. Well, maybe we'll have to contact you.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll have my people talk to your people. Oh, wait, we're all the same people.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I have to say I really enjoyed the show at Vetstock. It was really great to see you perform live in person and getting to experience you that in that environment. That was really great.
Well, I really enjoyed performing Vetstock, and I also really enjoyed your hard rock section where Brandywine and I got to do some full on We were full on. What is it? Headbanging?
Yeah, you were down front headbang. I loved it. It was awesome. What a great event that was.
Yeah, it was so much fun to perform with you, and it was really nice to meet you in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we'll have to think about something.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that was a great
Sweet.
coming together, because I mean, one of the persons that was so um you know, really made that thing happen was Barry Perkins. And so from
Mhm.
Hive Music, so to be able to meet him in person and consult and help put together the production of that show
Mhm.
and that live stream. Yeah, it was a great coming together of the entire Big Records family, Hive Music family, all of the musicians, and this bigger vision of supporting veterans. Uh, um,
Yeah.
what a beautiful thing.
One of my friends is a Marine, and he came out to see that.
I know. I remember meeting him. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Scott.
You very much reminded me of just the way that your poise and the way that you were. You reminded me of, you know, I don't know, like someone who would be performing, as before the men go out to war, the Second World War. You had a very sort of 40s, 50s,
Yeah.
vibe going on there. It was awesome.
Oh, thank you. I was aiming for that. Yes. My Spanglaise torch song, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of Espanol, a little English,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Julia, wasn't she great on the keys?
She sure was. Absolutely. She's
Uh,
phenomenally talented.
she's phenomenally talented. I look around at the people that are part of Big Records, and I'm often just astounded and overcome with, wow,
Yeah,
we work with some amazing people here.
yeah, yeah. Brandy and from Brandy Wine and Special Agent Sunshine. Wow, incredible. Just
Yeah.
so much incredible talent.
Oh, and don't forget Fraser Newcomb too.
Well, of course, Fraser Newcomb, he's our resident veteran. I've,
Exactly.
I've had such a great opportunity to tour with Fraser on two different tours
Yeah.
with Rise Up TV, and so that was incredible.
And Selene Stubner. There's just way too
Yeah.
many wonderful artists to even mention. But do check out the website for bigrecords.world, and you can find some of the artists there. And also tune in to Hived, because Hived will be releasing all of the Rise Up TV series that Tim has talked about. Going back to music again, you said you like female artists. Who would be your favorite artist at this time in your life?
Favorite artist at this time? Well, the one that's front and center, I guess, just simply because it was the first video I opened today, was Pink.
I love her. She's great.
It was a clip of her live. I mean, I've got the chance to do production for some of her shows here in Vancouver, which are epic.
Nice.
She flies around the entire stadium, like what she does physically, emotionally, and creatively is amazing. But it was a reel today. Her song "Mr. President." I don't know if you know the song, but very, very powerful song. Speaking directly to the president, and of course there was images of the American president in it, and with what's going on and everything. It was just like, wow, this woman is powerful, fearless, and just such a beautiful human being. So I'd have to say she's one of, at the moment. And again, I'm always in the moment. It's not like, oh, this is my favorite of all time. It's my favorite in the moment right now is Pink.
I hear you, Tim, because I like all musicians and I don't really have a favorite, but I would have to say I've got 3,000 of my favorite songs, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So music is a soundtrack to the moment. That's the way that I see it. And
I like that.
to wake up to Pink singing and being so impactful and powerful and in this challenging time. It was a really great thing.
Okay, next question is media. What would, if I gave you a choice of 5 medias, what would be your pick? TV, theater, concert, a bar, or karaoke?
I'd have to say concert, just simply because it's when you can get that many people, whether that's 50, 500, 5,000, 50,000. The more people that you get together, the more collective energy that is created, and that interaction between the artist and the audience is just so powerful. I think there's a quote in the Bible, where Jesus said, where more than just one are gathered, I am there. So when you put together 50,000 people and they're all having this collective experience together with the music, with the artist, that just creates this wave that just shoots out in such an amazing way. I mean, that could be negative or positive, but it's just such a powerful collective experience. So I think the most impactful is definitely concert.
Nice. Thank you. If you were to experience art, would you choose a painting, photography, metal art, structural, or nature?
Nature in what sense?
Being out in nature or art of nature.
I would say nature.
Nature.
Yeah, I would say nature, just simply because nature is a direct link for us to access the divine. Because nature is probably the greatest creation that the Creator has ever made, and we are part of nature, of course, but to be in that, to just sit down in a forest with a
Absolutely.
tree, there is nothing that is more powerful, more healing than that.
The spiritual energy.
Absolutely. One of the things that I do is I do sound healing. And so now I'm just working on a program right now where I actually take people out into nature, get them to lay down in the forest and do the sound healing
Nice.
event in the forest. I think it is probably the most transformational place that any human being can go to. If you have forgotten your connection with the divine, go out into nature.
And the moving water.
Of course, water is a huge part of it. Sitting beside bodies of water of any kind is a powerful experience. I mean, we're 80% water,
Right.
so it's being with water is just it helps us remember who we are.
It really does. It really does. You're speaking my language. I love plants and I love forests and I love water. I actually really enjoy being in a hay field, and I really enjoy being in a blueberry field where I've got all these beautiful blueberries. And I always think to myself how grateful I am to be in this beautiful field and having food made for me. This is a gift from the Creator, is that we have all this beautiful food and it's made for us, it's grown for us.
Sure.
And it's the answers that we're seeking, they really are in front of us, right? The Creator created you and me. We breathe out carbon dioxide. The plants breathe in carbon dioxide and give us the oxygen, right? And we need to embrace that plant-human bridge a lot more.
We are all one. We are
all one. Absolutely. Don't forget the fish in the seas.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, it comes back to Yahweh, and as I continue to research on Yahweh and the origins of Yahweh, it's breath, right? So
breath?
It's the in breath and the out breath.
Well, yeah,
that's where the where the term or the phrase Yahweh came from, because it's like, yeah, yeah. So that's the first thing that we do when we're born is we take an in-breath. The last thing we do when we die is an out-breath. So we are speaking the language of God in every breath.
Yahweh. Love it. Thank you. Well, I think that the last question that I think I had to ask you was, if you were going to have food, would you eat at home or would you eat out in a restaurant?
Oh, definitely at home.
There you go.
Definitely at home. I can make it, very much like we talked about music and in the moment and what's my favorite in the moment. The same thing at home. I've got my kitchen is my is my palette, or the fridge is the palette, and I'm drawing the picture of what I want to eat, and it's going to feed the moment. And entertaining. I've got my mom here right now, so just being creative for her in a culinary way is an extension and an expression of my love and my creativity.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And then, of course, having beautiful fresh fruits and vegetables and to create. You'll have to come on down to our farm out here and grab some fresh fruits and vegetables when we open up.
I can't wait. Absolutely. Oh, Just wanted to let you know that it's, that I've been working on trying to get the band to India.
Yes.
But again, because of political things that were going on between Canada and India, it wasn't possible in the last couple of years. It's looking good this year. So,
yay! Well, we'll have to chat about that too, because I've got a good friend of mine who's actually a Canadian citizen now, but was an Indian tour guide in India.
Oh, beautiful!
Yeah, and there's some talk about wouldn't it be great to do like a rise up where we went in India, but not just played fractions of India. So he suggests we should do like 1 day of playing,
100%,
1 day of tourist activity in the city that we're in. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
I hope that we can do that. That would be so much fun. Yeah, I love India. I love people. I love people. I love food. I love plants. I love life, and I love the creator. Thank you.
Love it.
So, as we wrap up this this interview, is there anything that you would like to share that we haven't covered so far?
Not really. I would just say that if anybody wants to know more about what I've got going on, just come to timsteinruck.com.
Yeah.
That's sort of my central hub to all of my different projects. We've got in the background here, we've got the image from the Torch of Rock and Roll comic book, which is in many ways an autobiography. And so that's just been released. And we're headed out on the Torch of Rock and Roll tour to Colombia coming up in July, and that's the next big thing for us. And I just really appreciate both you and Tara and Marco. It's incredible to sit here with you guys and have this interview. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, I'd really like to thank you very much, Tim, for sharing all of your insights and your life experience and your musical journey with us and with all the listeners here. We're very fortunate that you came on our show, and I love what you were saying about the one God, one creator, one community. We really need to become one all together collectively so that we can all succeed. Let's stop the wars, let's stop the fighting, and let's start rebuilding our community and our nations together and build a global international network of
Amen.
friendship.
Amen to
I love
that.
it.
As I said today in my Buddha quotes that came up was what we do to others, we are simply just doing to ourselves.
Absolutely. And we do have a little tagline here for ICFB Star Entertainment.
Okay.
It's I see, you see, we see, grazie.
I love it.
So, grazie, Tim, for sharing your time and your experience with us. We've really enjoyed the pleasure and honor of being here with you today.
Thank you. The pleasure and honor is all mine.
Thank you.